So to start this look, I'm priming my eyes with MAC Painterly Paint Pot. This will just prevent any of the eyeshadows that you put on from creasing, and it will also make them appear more vibrant and the colours show up truer. And then I'm going to go in with my Smashbox Full Exposure palette, and using the matte white, I'm just going to use that on a big fluffy brush and blend that all over the eye from lash line to brow bone. This will create a nice kind of matte, smooth surface for any other eyeshadows we're going to use. And you didn't have to prime if you're doing this, but I personally like both because I have really oily eyelids. And then going in with this transition colour from the same palette, I'm just going to blend that through the crease for a bit of depth and kind of definition, and it's going to kind of just create a bit of transition because we're focusing towards the lash line in this look. So it'll create just a little bit of transition just to help make your eyes look more defined. So there's a bit of kind of colour up there and it's not just the plain white. If you have really defined eyes, you might not want to do this, but my eyes are hooded, so that means they don't really have much definition. Then with this next colour, on a dome shadow brush, I'm just going to take that all the way across the lash line. And because this brush is quite big, it will kind of go all over the lid, but that's okay. This is what we want because we're doing kind of a gradient look. So we're just going to buff that close to the lash line, and I'm also taking it up slightly in the outer corner just for a really slight amount of a cat eye, but nothing too dramatic in that outer corner. Just buff it and keep buffing and blending. And then with a brown shade, I'm going to use that on a smaller brush and again focus that along the lash line. Basically what we're going to do here is getting smaller and smaller with the brushes to kind of show how gradient it is and make it more intense towards the lash line. And then what I do is I'll go in with a brown, push it into the lashes, and then go in and blend it again with the first brush, pack a bit more on, blend it again, and as you can see there, I have put a tiny bit just higher up in the outer corner again, like I said. But again, this is focusing mainly on the lash line, so blending that back through with that big dome brush. And really make sure to buff it because we want this to be really seamless. And then with the black, I'm going to push that into the lashes, and what this will do is add the most definition towards the lashes, and pushing the black into your lash line naturally will create the illusion of fuller lashes and thicker lashes, and it'll kind of stop you seeing any skin near the lashes. And again, just going back in with the other two brushes and blending. So I originally blend with the brush that I use the brown with, and then I go through with the original brush and blend that even more. Because like I said, everything wants to be seamless. I don't want anything harsh in this look. So this, I have showed you exactly what I do. Push it on, blend it out with the brush. As you can see, it kind of makes this dark colour towards the lash line. And then with the dome brush, blend it again, and this is going to feather it up and up and up. So this is going to be a really feathered, light, soft, smoky look around the lash line. And then once you've blended, go in and apply a bit more colour because obviously blending kind of removes some of the colour. And then for the very last step, I'm just going to push a tiny bit of that black into the lash line, but this last time I'm not going to blend it. This will kind of create again a fullness in the lashes, and this will kind of have the lash band because I am going to apply lashes with this look. But obviously if you don't want to apply lashes, this might not be necessary. And then with a bit of eye cream, I'm going to use that to clean up underneath the eyes because a bit of the eyeshadows kind of fell underneath the eyes. And this will also help kind of prime for the concealer. Then popping on some mascara. I'm just going to pop this on to blend them in with my fake eyelashes, but if you're not applying fake eyelashes, just go in and apply a few coats of mascara. The eyelashes I'm using are the Ardell Demi Wispies, which are quite natural and just kind of winged out at the outer edge. So I let the glue sit for about a minute, then I go in, place it in the middle of the eye, and then push in the outer corner. And then again with tweezers, I pull in the inner corner. I use a combination of the tweezers and my finger, but it's personally up to you however you like to apply your eyelashes. And as you can see, I've been wearing lashes for about 3 years. I'd say I've probably worn lashes at least 200 times, probably more. And it still takes me sometimes kind of a while to put them on and really get them tight to the lash line and nicely blended. So don't worry if it's taking you a while, just keep practicing and you will get the hang of it eventually. And then I just squeeze my natural lashes with the fake eyelashes, which can look a bit scary because obviously you've got tweezers that close to the eye, but it'll make them look a lot more natural if you do this. And then using the Benefit Stay Flawless Primer, what you do with this primer is you put it on one part of your face and then go straight in with the foundation over that area again, because this primer dries very fast, and by doing this it kind of solidifies it and really sticks it to the skin. So I really like this primer and it definitely does make the foundation last a lot longer. And the foundation I'm using is the L'Oreal Infallible Foundation. And then with Benefit's Boing Concealer, I'm just going to use that to cover up any spots I've got and around my nose where most people tend to get hormonally red, just to cover it up, but nothing too kind of extravagant. If you don't have any blemishes, obviously you won't need to do this, but it's all personal what your skin's like. And then with the Amazing Cosmetics Amazing Concealer, I'm going to run that underneath the eyes in a triangle shape and blend that all in with my beauty blender. This beauty blender is damp, and you want to make sure it's damp because otherwise it doesn't press the products into the skin as smoothly and it doesn't kind of look as moisturised and natural. The dampness will kind of really emulsify it and push it into the skin. And sorry for any kind of background movements you can see. I keep having people walking in and out of my room, but yeah. And then using the Urban Decay Concealer Pencil, I'm just going to use this as a highlight because this is a bit lighter than my foundation. And again, using the Beauty Blender to blend that in. Just for a nice highlight under the eyes, which I like all year round, but it's personal preference whether you like this. And then I pop a bit on the high points of the face, so right on the bridge of my nose, and then a little bit on the chin. And I do a tiny bit on the forehead because I don't personally like to bring too much attention to my forehead because it's quite big. So I like to kind of really contour the forehead, make it look smaller rather than bigger. And then using this Avon foundation, which obviously you can tell is a few shades too dark for me, I'm going to use this as a cream contour. So I just run that underneath the cheekbones and around the hairline and the temples, just in the typical places you'd normally contour. And cream contouring is a lot easier to blend and it does look more natural, but I'm going to go in with some powder products as well, so I'm kind of making it quite harsh. But if you just wanted to use a cream, it does look a lot more natural and kind of more skin-like really. So I'm buffing that in with my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, which is a nice kind of dense, quite small brush, and just really buffing that in. And then I'm going to set that under eye concealer using just a translucent loose powder. Any powder you like, but just be wary that if you're using a coloured powder, it may change the colour of your concealer. So if you are doing the highlight method like I've done, then just be careful to blend it properly and make sure it's kind of the right colour. So I'm just tapping that first to push the powder onto the skin and then swiping after to remove any excess product. Then onto eyebrows, I start by brushing them through and then using the cooler toned brown from the palette, I'm going to start filling them in. I've sped through this a bit because everyone's eyebrows are different, everyone's eyebrow shape, texture, colour, and everyone's face shape is different, so what's going to suit you won't suit me and what's going to suit me might not suit you. So this is kind of where you just do what you do. So I'm just showing you how I do it, but everyone's eyebrows are different, so you just do them however you prefer them. And I just make them look really structured toward the end, but on the inner corner I like to make them a bit more defined, diffused, and then brush them out again with that spoolie. And then using the Venus shade from the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette, I'm going to use that to highlight the brow bone. It's a really nice brow bone highlight because it doesn't have too much pink, too much gold, it's a straight kind of vanilla colour. It's really perfect for highlighting under the brow from anyone from the light skin tones to kind of like, I'd say an NC45, maybe a bit darker in MAC shades. And then underneath the eye I'm going to repeat the same process as we did on the top eyelid. So first with the mid-tone brown, and then with the darker brown, and then again with the black and the angled brush, really pushing that into the lashes. Just make sure to keep go through and blend it because we don't want this underneath the eye to look choppy. We want it to look nice and smooth, just like the top. So pushing that in, and then using this colour from the Smashbox palette, just to highlight the inner corners. You could have used this under the brow, but for my skin tone it's a tiny bit too dark. And then using Teddy by MAC, which is a nice kind of chocolatey brown colour. Going to use that inside the rim of the eye, and then use my Benefit They're Real mascara. And as you can see there, I got a bit of it on my nose, but doing that you want to wait for it to dry, and then it's a lot easier to remove. So if it's wet, it can kind of move the foundation. So I went in with some bronzer, the Bourjois bronzer, and now I'm using blush. And this is a Barbara Darley blush, and as you can see I've removed that mascara off my nose now because it dried. And now I'm using the Mare Luminizer by The Balm. This is a highlight, and I really like using highlights in kind of autumn because in direct sun, if you're wearing a highlight you can kind of see obvious shimmer on the face, and that's not what we want from a highlight. We want it kind of just like a glow from within, we don't want an obvious highlight. And then for the red lip, I'm just going to pop on this Kate Moss lipstick in 107. and this is a really nice dark matte red lip. So this kind of makes it more autumny, but of course you can go with a nude lip, but I chose the red lip. So this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it and find it helpful, and thank you very much for watching. Bye!